Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're taking a look at the Holosun. It's the DRS-NV. It's their digital night sight. This one is not thermal. I did not buy that one. This is all they had. I was in the store the other day. I saw they had this on the shelf and I bought it just for the fact that I've been wanting one of these ever since it was announced at SHOT Show of 2023. There we go. Looks a little better. It's a little bit grainy, but it is pretty dark out. It's about 6:15 in the morning. The moon is behind us. It's kind of overcast. It is a full moon. I gotta apologize if the picture's not straight. It's just the way this camera is sitting on the gun. I got it mounted to the pick rail. So I'm gonna zoom it. There is 2x zoom right there. Let's try to get it a little. See that little dirt hill right there, about 200 yards out. And the more you zoom out, since this is a digital camera, it does get grainier. There is 4x zoom, and there is 8x. Like it, you might be able to distinguish like a animal or human figure at 8x, but it's not going to be the greatest. I'm going to go ahead and turn the brightness up on the screen. You have to scroll through your functions, and the next one should be lowest. Well, let's see. These buttons are kind of hard to find at night. Now there, that's all the way down. Let's try to go one up. There we go. I'm gonna take the zoom back out to 0 or 1 power right there. There's only one reticle. The rest are getting reflections off the lens of my camera. We'll scan the horizon there. Now there's the backstop that I usually shoot at in my videos, and that's the swinging target. I'll go ahead and light up another cigarette here. That we can see what a lighter looks like in a distance. I'll spark the lighter up. See if that makes any difference at all in the camera or in the optic. Now I'm going to walk back toward the camera. Again, you can see what a fat person looks like on night vision. But so far, I'm pretty impressed with it. The only thing I don't like about it is the zoom. I'm going to turn this red dot intensity down because we don't need that shit that bright. Alright, it's pretty much off right there. There's different reticle settings. We'll put the, we'll shine back on the backstop there. Right there gives you only the red dot reticle. So it's really hard to find at night. Might want to have your settings set before you start using it. Alright, right here should be changing the reticle. There we go. There's one reticle. These buttons are super tiny. Let's turn the intensity up a little bit on the camera itself or on the night vision. That there gives you a little bit better view. On this side of the optic, you'll see that it has your plus and minus for your intensity of your red dot. It has your setting for your windage, and it has a charging port. And it's also the same port where you would connect to your laptop to get the images and video off of this. It does come with a proprietary charger. I'm not sure how well that's going to pick that up. That looks pretty decent there. But this is just magnetic. It just attaches right there just like that. So if you got this charging on the gun and you need the gun, pretty much all you gotta do is just grab the gun and this falls off. It makes a loud ting sound on that metal. Now moving to the front of the optic, you'll see that it has a piece of rubber around the camera itself. There's not another lens on top of it. It's just, I think it's more of a bumper. That way it doesn't get messed up around the edges if it was dropped or whatnot. To use the night vision, you close this, which You can see right there it's open. If you want to use it during the day as a red dot, you leave that open, and the optic works as any other red dot would. It's just your standard see-through red dot. You have a few choices for reticle. You have the 2 MOA dot, you have a 65 MOA ring, or you can run both of them together. It's also got a lens cap on the back, but it's clear, and I haven't seen a reason to pop that open yet. I have shot with this, I just haven't shot with it on camera. I sighted it in. It does work just as good as any other red dot does. Now the optic has two different refresh rates. It has 60 frames per second or 30 frames per second, nothing in between. You got one setting or the other. Now as for video, you have 6 different video brightness settings. It's 1 through 6. And I'll show you here in a little bit how to scroll up and down on that to get the brightness settings. Now as far as the red dot goes, it has 8 daytime settings and 4 nighttime settings. And this thing is pretty bright, because it was fairly bright when I was out sighting it in the other day. And it was more than enough to see with the sun. We had a pretty sunny day, but it was cold. But still, the red dot was nice and crisp even in the bright sunlight. But on this side of the optic, you will see that it has your setting for your elevation. And it has a battery compartment. The battery compartment on this is, you just pull this tab open, which on the earlier prototype models I saw from pictures from a SHOT Show last year, it had 2 screws holding this on. But this has, it's pretty tactile. You can see there, locks up tight. It's almost feels like a captive screw, because you can hear it clicking as it unscrews. And these are your batteries, the 18350s. It has 2 of those. They are rechargeable. You can run standard 18350s in it if these die, but they recommend that you do not plug it in to a power source with rechargeable batteries in it. I'll go ahead and tighten this back up. Again, you get those audible clicks as you turn it. Now to turn this optic on, there's a button on top. Just press it. You'll see the light come on. And you close your screen. Alright, up here in this top corner is your zoom. You have your 1 power, 2 power, 4 power, and 8 power. It's really easy to see on 1, 2, and 4. Like I said, 8 is almost unusable, because when you get it that far out, it's very pixelated, and you can see the grains and the pixels very, very big. Like, they're huge. It looks like there's maybe 100 pixels on the whole entire screen. It's so pixelated. Now down here, this is your brightness for your screen, which we'll go ahead and toggle through it. You can see it get brighter. It gets pretty bright at night. I mean, it's bright during the day, but usually I ran it on 2, and I was able to see it just fine this morning. We'll toggle back through those again. Like I say, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there's 6 brightness settings. Over here, this is to record. If you give it a long push, and we'll go ahead and start recording, the light turns blue, and when the light is blue, you are recording. Now if you're recording or you're not recording and you want to take a picture, you just give it a quick press, and that just snaps a picture. And to turn it back off, to stop recording, you just hold it again, and then the blue light disappears. Now by hitting the down button changes your reticle. There's 3 different reticle settings on this. Now when you do use a zoom on this, it acts like a first focal plane, because the reticle gets larger across the screen, and it does, once you get out to 8, you can see your hash marks for 200, 300, 400, and 500. But like I say, the conditions would probably have to be perfect, and you'd have to have a decent illuminator for that to even work, because it gets so pixelated it's hard to see. So by pushing the OK button, it brings your other settings up, and you can scroll up and down. And to back out of it, you just hold it again, and it takes you back to the screen right here where you were at. And it's the same way for all 3 of the other settings that are on this option. Now if you give us a long press, it'll let you pick which one of these you want. If you just click, like say if we click on the image and click it, it brings up your brightness, contrast, frames per second, and your sharpness, which I know my big ass head was in the way, but, and to get back out of that, you just hold the button, and it takes you back to your image, calibration, and settings. Now it's the same way for all those. When you're on this screen, you use the arrows that toggle up and down. Alright, the main 4 things you need to know when this optic is turned on is that this bottom button over here changes your reticle. This button up here takes your picture, or if you long press, it takes a video. Down here is your brightness for your camera intensity, and this right here is for the zoom, like I say, which is 1, 2, 4, and 8. To turn the optic off, the button back on top again, you just hold it for a few seconds and you'll see it shut off. Now if you want to use it for daytime, it's just a red dot. Go ahead and open up your lens cover and you can adjust your red dot to whatever brightness that you want. Again, that is on this side of it. You got the plus and minus. When you put this on charge, this little light right here will be green and it'll be flashing. When the light stops flashing and it's a steady green, that means that the optic is charged. This screw on the side is an 11mm, and you're supposed to tighten it from anywhere from 50 to 65 inch-pounds. Make sure you do inch-pounds, not foot-pounds, because that will break it. Now the viewing window on this, the exact measurements are 1.25 inches by 0.98. To turn the optic off, you just hold both buttons, and that turns the optic off. Then hit either one of the buttons and it turns it back on, and it goes into shake awake. And from what I understand, the shake awake on this goes to sleep after 10 minutes. Now the night vision has 24 gigs of internal memory, and I'm guessing if you run it on 60 frames per second as opposed to 30, it's going to eat your room up a lot faster. So if you want to really record for a long time, you might want to set it for 30 frames per second. It's not going to give you as clear of an image, but will help preserve the battery and help preserve the space on your hard drive. Now, unlike a lot of the Holosun products, this does not have a solar panel on top. It is just a cover. It looks like they meant to put a solar charging panel there, but it's just covered up. That would have been nice to have that, especially for during the day, just to run your red dot. But using this as a red dot, it works great as just a red dot. And it seems that the night vision works pretty good also, except for on the 8x setting. The 8x setting is almost unusable, which that's not that big of a deal. I mean, you still have 4-power zoom on it. It's such a small package. I mean, this thing it looks big on here, but for this to have all the features that it has, they put a lot of technology in a small package. Now I've got this mounted on my Desert Tech MDRX. I had this mount on here in case anybody asks. I had the camera that I'm using now, which is a Sony ZV-E10. I had it on a cantilever mount, so it was back here, so I was able to film the night vision stuff, which I'm going to roll in. Also, you've probably done seen that by now. But I was able to show what the image looks like behind the camera, and we're going to show what the image looks like through the camera, because we recorded as we were recording the back of it, so we have double video. But as far as your other settings, you have your brightness setting, you have your contrast and whatnot. Those are all in your settings under the OK button, and they're pretty much self-explanatory. So if you get the optic, just take a couple hours playing with it. Get used to what the buttons do. And if it's cold out and your fingers are, cold and you can't feel your fingers, you're not going to be able to feel these buttons. And they're really hard to find which button is which with cold fingers or, like I say, with gloves on. So you might want to have it set up the way you want it before you start using it, especially if it's in a colder climate. And also remember that anything battery powered is going to last a lot longer in a warmer climate as opposed to where it's cold. If it's cold, it's going to use the battery up a lot faster. But I haven't had any issues with the battery dying on me. Like I said, I got it down to the 3rd bar yesterday after running it for about 2.5, 3 hours playing with it. But if you got any questions about this that I might be able to answer, go ahead and ask them. I'm no expert on this. I just bought one. Like I say, I've had it like 3 days. And I'm super pumped to have it because it came out during SHOT Show of 2023. This is now 2024. And they've just released them. So I'm really lucky. I just happened to find one in a store. And these retail for about $1,000 online if you do find them. It's about what they are in the stores also. Yeah, but other than it being a tall, heavy optic, I really like it. It's a lot heavier than the EOTech that I had on here was. But I believe I'm going to leave this on here because I can run it suppressed, and it's still only about as long as a 16-inch barrel AR, and I still have 16 inches of barrel in this bullpup. and I do plan on shooting this a lot more. I'm not sure if I'm going to make another video on it. I'll probably make a lot of shorts showing what it does at night and whatnot, more than I would in a long form style video, because I think the shorts would be a lot easier to watch than me just blabbing on about the optic. So if you guys aren't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Please like this video. Give me a thumbs up, because I about froze my thumb off today. But as always, thanks for watching, stay safe, and let's take back our Second Amendment.